Let's get ready to rumble!
Canelo will need good legs is what I said on my last video concerning this fight. He has more snap than Triple G first round. Triple G did well, but he just plugs in with not much of an elaborate style. He does a lot of blocking, but he doesn't do much to get out of the way. And some of the blocking he does with his face. Second round, he's still walking and plodding him. He sets himself up to punch, and then Canelo isn't there for the most part. And it looks so obvious. And I don't want to critique Triple G too much, man, but for someone who they've been talking about with such admiration, I mean, I gave him the benefit of the doubt that the last two fights were not perhaps the stage that he wanted to be on. He wanted to be on the big stage, and he could have been a bit flat. But no, he was on the big stage, and he came up a little short to me. Prime for prime, I think there's a few middleweights who would be happy to put the first L on his ledger. Not saying that he couldn't survive with them guys and give them a good fight, but there's no special effects. That's what Floyd says. No special effects, and that's exactly right. There's no special effects. Canelo's not landing everything he throws, despite the crowd thinking that he does. But I have no problem giving him a lot of the rounds because of his detailed head movement and upper body movement. Don't sleep on Triple G's jabs, but I've got Canelo winning a lot of these early rounds. Big hand speed advantage. Triple G tries to get his hand speed up, but he's just not fast. He's just not very quick. His best punch is his left jab. He lands a solid left hook, but Canelo's 1-2s and rights over the top are impressing me very much. He's right in Triple G's wheelhouse, but Triple G seems a little reluctant to go to the body because Canelo is so sharp he's likely to counter anything that Triple G throws. And it was Roy Jones who actually said that people who think that Triple G's jab is a definite deciding factor are not realizing that Canelo wants you to throw jabs so he can slip and counter. He actually wants you to throw all types of shots. Canelo is looking really full of himself, and deservedly so. Great mental approach from Canelo. He was very sure of himself. He was very sure of his physical strength. His stamina, I'm not so sure. He never once just earmuffed up like Matthew Macklin and left himself square for big body shots. You saw on a few occasions when Triple G tried to get big hooks off, Canelo just turning his head at the last minute and riding the shot. Some of them grazed, some of them missed. I think he's been studying one opponent on his record. I think you know what I'm talking about. Both men continue to trade hooks. Triple G finally mixes it up towards the end of the third to the body. Canelo landed an uppercut. Golovkin looks better as the round approaches the last minute. He's cutting the ring off, stepping across with his right leg rather than plodding straight in. He lets his hands go. Maybe not landing too cleanly, but Canelo is retreating and not doing much. It's a Triple G round. Triple G's work rate versus Canelo's punch quality seems to be the theme of the fight. Triple G does not look anything like the puncher he's been built up to be. A right over the top lands, but there's not enough hand speed on it for him to be one of the greater punches. He's very heavy-handed, but he doesn't have the hand speed to be the puncher that they're building him up to be. Round 4 was hard to score. Perhaps Triple G got it. Canelo is actually resting on the ropes, a tactic that I thought would be suicidal. But Triple G is so slow, his punches are telegraphed, he's repeatedly missing, and Canelo's just weaving his shots, seemingly enjoying himself, even though his energy levels look like they're depleting, but we're used to seeing that from Canelo. Triple G actually landed a Sunday best right after Canelo landed a grazing right down the pipe. Canelo didn't even flinch. He nods back at Triple G like, no, it didn't hurt. But it did hurt a little because he kept nodding for about 10 seconds after. And I think he realized that he was nodding as much to say, I know I messed up, as much as he was trying to shout to Triple G that it didn't hurt. I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't have been getting caught with them punches on the ropes. He was comfortable on the ropes for most of the fight, though. But Triple G, you know, As Canelo fired back, he did attempt to retreat and keep his shape. Triple G has improved his back foot game just slightly, not much, since the Jacobs fight. These rounds are very hard to score. Very hard to score. Right hand by Triple G as he's finding more snap in his punches. Canelo really feeling the power. But his hand speed and ability to come back and throw in combinations is a revelation. Triple G just does not have the tempo to his boxing. Speed is killing this guy to a degree. For Canelo, he's just finding his groove. He lands a jab, then he turns another jab into a hook. He's looking really good in there. He even tried a behind the back type of punch. That's how comfortable he was in the ring. It was quite astonishing, the mental approach he took into the fight. That's something Willie Monroe, if he wants to continue boxing, he should study Canelo. If you're going to look at the current fighters who are fighting in his paradigm, go study Canelo. Round 3, Triple G, however, the natural middle comes back. Very workmanlike, tracking Canelo down, driving him into the ropes, landing to head and body, hitting a lot of elbows, to be honest, and missing. But he's very industrious, nevertheless. But the work rate is getting to Canelo a little. But Canelo brings 2 uppercuts, one to the head, one to the body. Then good defense by Canelo as Triple G tries to finish strong. And Canelo took the round. I mean, that was excellent boxing. Just because he's not a big volume guy doesn't mean he's not winning. There's a fine line in pacing and getting it wrong and just getting it right. And Canelo is just getting it right tonight. Triple G should loop some of his shots, is what I said. I said that to myself. He needs to loop some of the shots. And Abe Sanchez, in one of the later rounds, he actually says he didn't want Triple G to throw certain shots so straight. He wanted more of an arc type of trajectory on some of the shots. And I could see that. He looked a little telegraphed, throwing the same type of punches all the time. Good pressure though. Thumping jab and headshots. Good pressure. And Canelo looked like he was taking the 7th round off. But can he afford to do that is the question. Canelo's still countering well. But we're seeing better quality from Triple G. He's a little more subtle, cutting the ring off, upping his hand speed with 2 or 3 punch salvos, and not necessarily trying to load up all the time. And that's where his boxing lacks. So we saw a few things there, at least from Triple G, that we don't normally see. Trying to throw little quick bursts, rather than just the heavy-duty maneuvers, the big heavy shots. Good round for Triple G. Round 8, Canelo is in the ring center meeting Triple G head on. Great left uppercut. But this was a period where he was reacting more than initiating the fight. More of a reactionary type of response from the constant pressure that Triple G was trying to apply by now. A right to the body from Triple G. He was trying to grind Canelo down. Canelo's defense, though, however, didn't let him down. It wasn't letting him down. But his work rate was letting him down. In the 9th, Canelo lets both hands go. The quality and speed is way better than Triple G's. His work rate, not very impressive. But he lands flush with hooks with both hands. Golovkin, methodical, but he's still effective. He's wearing him down. He looks like he's trying to wear Canelo down. But Canelo comes back with a 3-punch combination. He starts with the body, then he comes up to the head. Hard one to split the 9th round. I gave it to Canelo on quality. 10th round. Canelo starts well, but Triple G's pressure and his jab are looking pretty good now. 10 seconds to go. Golovkin puts together a sequence of hooks. Canelo takes them, and they landed clean, and Canelo just ate them. But however, his volume and pressure punching is quite impressive. You have to give Triple G credit for that. I like when he mixes it up with some lighter shots, then tries to bring up some heavier shots rather than the one-pace stuff he does. In the 11th, Canelo and Triple G trade quality shots to uppercuts. Look really good. It was an evenish round. Hard one to split. Very hard one to split. I may have given that one even. Triple G was feeling the pace because he was pushing it really hard. This was the biggest fight of his life. He didn't show out But he's getting no younger. He's in his mid-30s and he's having to really drive it on. He's not Superman. He's an incredibly tough, strong individual, but he's not Superman. And Canelo, younger, fresher, faster. In the 12th, he started with a beautiful combination, man. Like, his hand speed, he looked like he was Meldrick Taylor in there with that combination he threw. I was like, what? And he was forced to give ground because Triple G just kept pushing. And he's heavy-handed. The steady pressure was back in effect. But Canelo came back. And a left hook, which had a bit of a slapping quality to it. And Triple G shook his head. I don't know if he was hurt. I don't think he was hurt. I just think he was just astounded that the little Mexican dude was just competing with him every step of the way. And how skilled he was. I think he was a little taken back by that. I don't think him and Abe Sanchez were ready for what Canelo was going to bring. Neither was I. It's a shock to the system, to be honest with you. And there is a case that Canelo actually hurt Triple G in the 10th. The Box Nation feed are saying that, he stumbled, his feet were square and he stumbled. I'm not sure about that. I'm not saying he was like on the verge of death or anything like that, but he definitely felt the shot in my opinion. Triple G feeling the pace in the 12th. Canelo lands a good right, wins the round in my opinion and won the fight 115-114 and should be the unified middleweight champion today. But hey, he's got a few decisions that shouldn't have went his way too. So that's boxing. Adelaide Bird, man, you and CJ Russ, you both deserve
the gas face.
I don't know what to say. Good advertisement for boxing. A rematch will be welcomed. Canelo, he can only improve in a rematch. Triple G is going to have to retire soon because he can't go down a grade of competition to get his confidence back. He's now in there pitching against guys who are just coming to their peak. But he's an old guy fighting a young dude's type of pressure fight. And he's not getting better. He's not improving. He is rudimentary, slow, crude. Not the most inventive fighter we've seen vying for them pound-for-pound positions. We now have more tape from Kell Brook, Danny Jacobs, and Canelo. More blueprints. You can go back to Kasim Umar, how to beat this guy. And to me, he's lost his last two on the bounce. Now, this one could have went either way. And so could the other one, I guess. Not robberies. But to me, in Beats' opinion, he lost his fight. Canelo's ring generalship, his ability to elaborate his head movement, upper body movement, and the usage of his legs to make a definitive statement on defense, to make Triple G's punches look obvious that they missed, when Triple G done a lot of blocking, but he just walked forward all the time. There's not enough dimensions to his game. Canelo had too much dimensions. And that's how he was able to do so well with such a low punch output. Like I say, it's a thin line. Like Derek Chisora, to me, sat on the ropes just fractionally too long against Dillian White. And it was a close fight. Could have went either way. Just like this one here. It's a thin line. It's a very thin line. Tom Loeffler and Abel Sanchez and anyone else who value Triple G's legacy need to be very careful about pitching him back in there with Canelo straight away. The problem is, though, the Billy Joe Saunders fight now is a backward step. Forget the WBO belt, man. That's a backward step. Yeah? He's not going to go in there with Danny Jacobs because Jacobs hasn't got nothing for him in terms of belts or prizes or prize money. He's not getting no younger. So his options, I won't say limited, but his options are what they are. A lot of people are going to want to see this fight again, me included. Now, that takes care of my evaluation of the fight. Now I'm going to take a few jabs at Mr. De La Hoya. Well, Abe Sanchez and a lot of the press seem to think your man was a runner. He was negative in there.
It's a robbery. Call the police for me.
Now, I don't think it was a robbery. I don't think he was negative. I think he was skilled. I think he timed it just right. He paced this fight just nicely. But you're going around saying...
It was a great fight. It was a great fight. It was a great event. It was a great fight.
Great fight, great fight. But you keep telling us that TBE has been the worst era in boxing. Now, let me tell you this. When Floyd whooped your boy, your lad, he didn't sit on the ropes for as long as Canelo was at no stage. He pushed a lot of the action. I don't know what the CompuBox was, but he was way more productive than your lad then. This is an old Floyd. Yeah? And that's the only guy you've lost to. Abe Sanchez ain't the only one saying
he ran for most of the second part of the fight, and you can't win rounds that way.
But of course, Oscar's gonna argue, it was great boxing, it was great boxing. You know what I mean? You gotta be more consistent. You gotta be more consistent. Because when they start critiquing Canelo for being negative and a runner, well, you know, you're gonna look like a hypocrite now. That's why you got to be a bit more objective before you just start running your mouth. Not just Oscar, anybody. Because there's going to be a load of Triple G fans labeling Canelo as a runner. Now, I don't believe he was. I think he boxed very well. But why should I argue for Canelo if you're going to shit all over other fighters who did it? Like Lara, like Erislandy Lara. Although, admittedly, Lara moved way more excessively than Floyd did. And more excessively than Canelo did. But the point's made. But the point has been made. If it's good boxing for one, it's good boxing for all. Peace.